I'm finally out, James Alvarez exclaimed as he forcefully took a deep breath of fresh air. Behind him was Horrington Prison, where he had been locked up for the past 3 years. Today was the day he was released. I wonder how my parents are doing. With a torn canvas bag on his back, James hurried home right away. Over the last 3 years, his parents never visited him. Hence, he was worried about them. On the way home, James kept looking at the bronze-colored ring he was wearing. There was a lifelike dragon carved on it. On top of the dragon's head was a special symbol. The ring was given to him by Diego, a friend from prison. Diego was a strange man. He would constantly ramble on about how he was the leader of the dragon sect and knew everything, including astrology, geography, medicine, and many more. Not only that, he even claimed that he could bring back someone from the dead. Everyone treated Diego as a madman and ignored him accordingly. Only James would chat with him and share his food occasionally. Diego would tell James all sorts of strange stories about the Dragon Sect and Dragon Island. These were names that James had never heard before. Moreover, Diego would get James to accompany him in his meditation and martial arts training. Given how bored James was in prison, he gladly went along with it. At the end of 3 years, James had learned a plethora of martial art techniques and medical skills from Diego. On the fateful day of James's release, Diego gave the ring to James and told him to go to Nameless Island within the Eastern Sea on the 15th of July that year. There, he was supposed to flash his ring, and someone would pick him up. When that happened, James would be bestowed with a wonderful opportunity. Considering how much he had learned from Diego, James naturally took his words seriously and promised to do as he was told. Nevertheless, there were still a few more months to go before July. Before he knew it, James had arrived at the entrance to his home. When he saw the dilapidated house in front of him, he felt a sense of bitterness, as he had no knowledge of how his parents held up during the 3 years. Due to my rash actions, my parents must have suffered a lot. Thinking back to what had happened 3 years ago, James was filled with anger. Back then, he and his girlfriend, Olivia Solis, were at the stage where they were talking about marriage. They were classmates at university and had been in a relationship for 2 years. One day, when he was walking Olivia back home, both of them ran into Larry Johnson, who was drunk. Larry was a rich kid in Horrington, well known for all his misdeeds. When he saw how pretty Olivia was, he harbored lecherous intentions against her and began touching her physically. As a famous rich kid, Larry didn't even bother to look at James. Consequently, James was incensed when he saw his girlfriend being taken advantage of. Picking up a brick from the ground, he smashed it onto Larry's head. One didn't need to be a genius to guess the outcome. Considering how powerful Larry was, he called the police, who arrested James. Because of that, James was sentenced to 3 years in prison for assault. After hesitating for a long time, James knocked gently on the door. "Who is it?" When the door opened, a hunchback old lady with a head full of white hair popped her head out. Reaching out one hand as if to feel something, she asked, "Who is it? Who's knocking on the door?" The old lady's eyes were closed shut. It could not be more obvious that she was blind. James was stunned the moment he saw her. His eyes widened in shock while his entire body trembled slightly. He could not believe that the old, wrinkled lady was his mother, Hannah Thompson. How did Mom end up in such a state in just 3 years' time? "Mom, it's me. James!" James called out emotionally as he stepped forward to support her. "James? Is it really you?" As Hannah used her hands to feel James's face, tears could not help but roll down her cheeks. "Mom, it's me. It's really me." Tears were also welling up in James's eyes. "Mom, what happened to you?" James was baffled as to how his previously healthy mother turned out this way after just 3 short years. It's a long story. Come in first before we talk. Hannah pulled James into the house. Seeing how empty their decrepit house was, James was shocked beyond belief. Although they were not rich, his father had a steady job. Therefore, they previously led a simple yet comfortable life. "Mom, what happened to our house?" James questioned in horror. Hannah let out a sigh. "After you left." His mother then related everything to him. After James was sent to prison, the Johnson family didn't look past the matter. Instead, they demanded $1 million in compensation. Left without a choice, James's parents sold the house they bought for his marriage and borrowed a lot of money. Even then, it was not enough. Finally, they had to pay the last $300,000 in installments. Thus, James's father lost his job and could only find work as a street cleaner. As for his mother, she cried all day long until she went blind. That was also the reason why his parents never visited him. While listening to his mother, James gradually clenched his fist as his eyes glowed with murderous intent. He had not expected the Johnson family to show his family no mercy. "Mom, did Olivia not help you at all?" James asked in a puzzled tone. "Olivia and I were about to be married. Furthermore, I was jailed defending her honor. Hence, there's no way she can sit idly by and watch my parents end up in this state, can she?" Letting out a sigh, Hannah replied, "Let's not bring that up. Not only did the Solis family ignore us, but they also didn't even return the betrothal gift when I asked for it back. They claimed it wasn't their fault that the wedding fell through because you went to prison. That's why they refused to return it. When your dad argued with them, he was even beaten for it." The more Hannah talked about it, the more depressed she became. In the end, her tears just would not stop.